Go. All right. All right. Welcome. Happy Friday, everyone. Happy Friday. This is the Nocturnal Therapist. I want to say hello to all zero of you out there right now, but hopefully y'all be watching later on tonight. I'm sure y'all will. I have at least two friends, two people should at least watch this. But anyway, and then Brandon's here, and then Hannah from Canada. So I started off like this because I want y'all to know I love switching it up. I love you know I love exploring different things. I'm a little Dora the Explorer. So I'm doing this on for this episode. I want to know, what shade of Harry do you like the most? What shade of Harry do you like the most? I come in different flavors, baby. So let me know, what shade of Harry do you like the most? So we're gonna start off with the blue, and then we're gonna move through some other colors. So let me go on and invite Hannah on in. So let everyone else know. The one person who's watching right now, you let all other 12 people who may be watching this later on at some point in the show, you let them know that I have not turned into a smurf, that I am asking the people, what shade of Harry do they like the most? And so you're going to see different colors. All right. So let me go and get Hannah in here. I'm going to do this switch first. I'm going to take off this. I think I know how to do it better now this time, y'all. Y'all see me struggle with this. Bam. Look at that. Bam. Come on. Come on. Come on,
Hello.
Hannah. What's
Hey,
going on,
hey.
Hannah?
Oh, just
Mm. Apparently, the crowd is excited to see you, Hannah. The crowd is
oh,
excited to
thank
see
you.
you.
Thank you.
So,
Always a pleasure. I'm here in my natural light, so
that is awesome. Yeah, that natural light. So speaking of light, real quick, before we get into the heavy, because we're going to be talking about authenticity, right? We're going to be talking about aligned action,
mhm.
and of course, introspection, shadow
Yeah.
work. Aligned action, shadow work, and authenticity. And we have a very special guest on today,
Mhm.
Mr. Brandon Croucher. But before we get into it, I want to know, what do you think about this shade, Hannah?
Blue?
Yeah.
Well, blue is very relaxing. So I
Mm-hmm.
do like that. It's very, zen, chill.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
As I said earlier, I get some Blue Man Group vibes, which could be cool for some people. You know,
Yeah,
entertainment, right?
I totally asked you that just so you can say that right there. But you
Yeah,
weren't, the
there you go.
people aren't supposed to know that we had discussed it previously. You were supposed to just.
Ah, I'm sorry. Well,
But anyway, it's all good. We're working on this. We're
we're
working on
not
this. It's
on my
growth.
favorite color yet, so you guys we've got a show.
Yes, we do.
Be
Yes, we do.
colorful.
So, are you ready to bring in our guest to talk about? Ooh, I got something. I got something real quick. Just in. All right. So there's another thing, another surprise I have for the people. So besides
Oh,
our topic
surprises.
being authenticity, aligned action, and introspection, I've been hearing some ish out there. So for a moment, I want to take a moment before we bring in our guest here, and I want to talk about this ish that I've been hearing.
Okay.
So I heard this, Hannah, and my first question to myself was, what the ish? What the ish is going on here? So I've been hearing there's been an influx of of laced cannabis,
Laced
fentanyl
cannabis.
laced cannabis, and I've been hearing about reports of overdoses based off of cannabis being laced with fentanyl. And so I was curious. I wanted to broach that topic to just, we talk about some pretty deep transformational things here, and we're going to continue to do that.
Yeah.
But I also want to bring on the current topics, and so, what the issues going on with that? Have you heard about fentanyl laced cannabis and overdoses, an influx of overdoses?
I have heard about it. I haven't dug into research or stats myself. As you all know, I'm from Canada. So we have legalization that has been around here for a while. That being said, we still have an opioid crisis as well. So, my question would be, how connected are those things really? Um, when we see here that we have the ability to get cannabis legally, that's tested up to Health Canada standards, all that kind of stuff. And concurrently, we also have overdoses happening. It's pretty much guaranteed that you're not getting fentanyl laced cannabis from a dispensary. So, are those things even really related?
Mm.
That would be my big question.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm just trying to figure out what the issue is going on.
Yeah.
So I think that germane to this topic, we got to bring in my man,
Yes.
CEO. I mean, he's in the industry, so
Yes.
this is
Got
also
some
a great
knowledge,
opportunity,
some
yes, to bring him
knowledgeable
in.
feedback.
So yeah, hold on a sec. We still talking about what the issue. We're gonna get into some of that deep stuff. Don't worry about it, y'all. But we need to figure out what issues going on in these streets. I've been hearing a lot of ish going on in these streets, and I don't even know what type of issues going on. Just a lot of ish. So hold on a second there. Let me bring in my man. There he is.
Change.
There he is.
Hi, Bo.
Yeah.
How you doing, brother?
What the hell?
Poke.
What was that? What happened?
I told you. I don't know what you clicked earlier, but I was on 2 screens at once. It was awesome.
No way. This is crazy. Hold up. I'm bringing you out, man. You messed it all up. Hold on. This is what the ish is going on. Hold on.
Yeah, there's a whole different what the ish.
I'm saying no, man. But anyway, y'all. Oh, there we go.
You get it?
Thought they had me. There we go. Yeah, there you go.
There we go.
So, and please let me know around the 15-minute range. I'm gonna have to change shades over here. Change shades so people can tell me what their favorite flavor of Harry is, or shade of Harry is. So we starting out with that groovy blueness.
Blueberry flavored.
Straight up. Papa Smurf over here.
I was just about to call you that.
Zaddy Smurf.
Zaddy.
Look, okay, so I don't really know what a Zaddy is, but I heard it's a good thing. I heard it's like when you get a salt and pepper bid, you call it a Zaddy, and supposedly it's supposed to be like an attractive thing. Now, that's all I know about it. I don't know what else, I don't know if it's like something vulgar or anything else like that or whatever. But I'm like, yo, I've never had anything that was in style before, right? And so I'm like, wait, you telling me this is I don't even listen to that foolishness. You know what I mean? All the fads, I don't even care about that. But when I heard about this, I was like, wait a second. I've been black salt and pepper for a minute. I'm a zaddy out here? You mean to tell me I'm zaddied out here? I'm like, yo, I've never been in style before. So I'm gonna find out if this thing is a real thing, and I'm gonna zaddy it out.
We'll have to look at that term.
I've
never heard that.
Honestly, I have to be honest. I think that you might have got a little bit of fentanyl in your weed with being
I am a licensed professional. I would never engage in illegal substances.
I have not seen.
Gentlemen, he is joking. He is joking.
Promise. That is a joke. I think it's an interesting topic, though, because truth be told, like, we were talking about this beforehand, and I think that one of the comments that was made by you, Harry, was the fact that, like, is it a conspiracy thing? Is it a this? Is it that? My thing is, the funding that goes in, like we were saying, a lot of the funding that goes into cannabis from the government is into finding the negative side effects of it. So if you can all of a sudden, I think of the CEO of Fox News and what their motto is: if it bleeds, it leads. And that's the thing, is this is a story that if you're able to make it where it's going to hit the news and people are going to want to talk about it and scare people, because how many people still look at CBD and the hemp plant as being wacky tobacco and it's not a good thing and this is a bad thing? Hannah, boom, you and I are on the same page.
My favorite term.
It's mine too. I love that you did that. But like, it's one of these things where, okay, all of a sudden we hear about these fentanyl issues. Yeah. We hear about all these problems out there. We hear about the opioid crisis like Hannah mentioned. But at the end of the day, what's being used that's actually the positives behind that? Yeah. How come in cities like Chicago, you can bring your illegal opiates and drop them off at the dispensaries, and they will trade you your excess opiate pills in cannabis now? Because they know that one actually helps better calm you, balance you, and get you back into a delightful spot of life, while another side of you is, that was great. Do you like how I did that? And then the other side, I love it.
You see the smile? You see the teeth? You see the blue teeth?
I do. The teeth are so blue right now. I'm blue. I am Harry. Don't mess with me. I'm blue.
Hey, no,
please
throw that in real quick while I change the shade so I could get the people to see the other shades.
You got it. I throw what in? I don't know what, but I'm going to throw it out there.
As you were saying, like, we have things that are also going on concurrently, but my big thing on this is like, let's think logically about it. So tell us, how easy is it to put fentanyl in cannabis?
It's not. It's not. It's like, let's just use creating an entirely new strain of cannabis, okay? So you and I both are, I like one that's calm. You want one that gives you a sativa and energy. And we have both our own plants. It's not like we just put them in a room and they're able to create their own thing. It takes like pollinating. It takes like seeding. It takes moving around. It takes being able to germinate the two. Yeah. And be able to create an yes. And this is not something that, and if somebody is having fentanyl in their cannabis, that means it was laced with it in a whole nother way. And you would have been injecting it in, it would have been grown into it. It would have been more than one strain. It would have been something that came about in many different strains. And that's not easy to do. No. So if we're going to be buying these things, this is why the legality's behind it. Like, you can't go buy cocaine on the street, but you can go get Adderall for having ADD and then be able to help yourself focus. So, like, but you have to get it from a doctor. Same thing with cannabis. We're getting to the point where our country is seeing these regulations and hearing that, oh, somebody bought cannabis with fentanyl in it. That's something that when you hear that, it's so rare nowadays. It's so untraditional that means somebody did something to hurt somebody. That is not a normal cannabis plant.
No.
Case in point. And this is a new shade. So again, ladies and gentlemen, real quick, Hannah, hold that point. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're there, we need the comments. We're looking at the comments. Hannah, do you see the comments? Oh, Brandon Croucher, I'm blue. Oh, I see y'all out here. Fernando, I'm sorry. I had to change it up. Howdy, Fernando. Hey, Brandon, Brian, howdy. All y'all people. Delight's Digital Cafe, thank y'all. The CEO of Delight Digital Cafe on y'all. So I'm looking at the comments now. But anyway, the game is, what shade of the Nocturnal Therapist do you like the most? Which is your favorite shade?
Is this the orange one? Because it looks orange.
It is orange. This is the orange one.
Right here. That's personally the one that I like the best. It makes like your attire look great. The blue one, I felt like I should be playing underwater with you. Like, I felt like we should be dancing.
Wait, hold on now. Don't see. This is why I think Hannah loves the blue, and I also love the blue because you got to understand, baby. I'm a deep sea fish. I live down there. You understand what I'm saying? And I ain't been discovered yet. I'm one of them fish. You know what I mean? I'm deep down there.
The most attractive fish. I'm just gonna throw that out there.
What's the most attractive fish?
Those are not the most attractive fish.
Oh, well, that's again. I've never been discovered. The fish that you know of
those are the scary
are not attractive.
Fish with the lights in the front that are.
Look, this right here, the Nocturnal Therapist, we ain't got none of that craziness going on. You know, we just as sexy as can be. We undiscovered yet, though. That's why they still think the deep sea fish are ugly. Anyway.
So are you trying to be a pumpkin now with the orange?
No, what I'm trying to do is figure out if the people would prefer this shade over the last shade. So again, the game is, real quick, just in case y'all got lost, the game is, y'all message, y'all write it in the comments. Which shade? I have two more shades I'm gonna throw out there. Which shade of the Nocturnal Therapist do you prefer?
Throw a poll in at the end.
Yeah, we got to do that. Yeah, we got to do that. So back to the business at hand about this fentanyl and cannabis. Have we concluded that matter? Have we dealt with that?
So where we're at here is if we use our critical thinking skills, just to recap, a lot more money goes into, especially in the United States, proving that cannabis is negative or bad for you than exploring the benefits. That is why maybe if you want to learn more about that, it might be useful to look into studies where we have legalization, like in Canada, the Netherlands, things like that. What are people finding out outside of the FDA and the United States?
Correct.
The next point is that it is very difficult to lace cannabis with fentanyl. I mean, I imagine you could roll a joint and sprinkle some in there.
Yes, that would be. It'd be like rolling a joint, and then like, have you ever seen like you're in Canada, so yes, like cannabis honey, how you can like literally put it on the edge of the joint. It'd be the same type of thing. You'd just be sprinkling. Keef.
Yeah, the
That's
crystallized part of.
That's actually the best part. That's the part that gets you high.
Wait,
of the
in
cannabis
legalized states, it's the best part
Yes.
because
Or
down
countries.
in the good old state of Louisiana, it's still
plant.
illegal. So
So you
we
don't know
don't
what we're
deal with
talking
none of
about.
that foolishness down here.
Don't
You
know.
know, we don't
So
deal. Y'all
But-
keep y'all weed smoking selves exactly where y'all at. We don't
you're
take too
missing
kindly
out.
to y'all around these parts.
But anyways, so yes, there's an aspect of this where like yes, this can be true. You could get a joint that was laced with fentanyl. That would not be normal. And again, when we look at legalization and the ability to go to a dispensary and get the type of weed that you want, you can get pre-rolled joints. You can buy flower. You can buy these things. You can buy weed with or cannabis with high THC content or high CBD content. That gives us the power to know what we're getting and feel safe, that we are getting what we want. So then we kind of get into the question of like, what benefits are there, which we've seen it again in countries and states that there are a lot of benefits to allowing people to make those decisions and to have the buying power and the protection as a person instead of buying off the street and getting drugs that are laced with drugs that you really don't want to have in your system. So
And
that's kind of where we are with this.
I think that going off of that, like I think that that's the thing is a lot of people still put cannabis into that illegal system. They picture it, and that's why when you hear, oh, somebody got cannabis from a friend and it was laced with fentanyl, you know what? It makes me wonder, where did they get that from? Like, is that friend someone that they usually get cannabis from? Are they a normal cannabis smoker? Because, like, for me, that guy sounded really annoying, I just got to say. But, like, I look at this, and I remember the first time I ever smoked cannabis. I was not a high school kid. I was an adult. And I was doing this with a group of people who knew I had never really smoked before. And I was interested in wanting to know more about this and why would this be such a bad thing. And the truth is, when you start something new, you're usually going to go around friends. You're going to go talk to people who are more into this. And you're not going to have somebody like Snoop Dogg right next to you be able to smoke with you there. So for me, it's finding that person that if you're nervous about what might be in your plant, don't just go. You're willing to meet your friend at a bar and try a new drink at that bar's offering. How about when you want to try something new that might help balance you in a different way, find that person that's a friend that you could just chill with. You could smoke with. What the issue's wrong with finding out how to get the best in yourself?
Yeah, exactly. And again, that goes back to that, the ability for the user to choose the experience that they want. Smoking's not for everyone. Weed is not for everyone. Some people may really, really benefit from a CBD or a one-to-one product. Personally, my favorite, that chill, right? So it's, and some people, again, edibles can impact people in different ways. It's all going to be a learning experience, but that's something that you want to do with some guidance and some knowledge, not just, getting things off.
Now, wait. Now, we do want to say this. We have to put
Disclaimer.
we got to put a bow tie around this thing because we need to dedicate at least 40 minutes towards this important business of shadow work, authenticity, and aligned action. Just want to throw that in there.
Take us. Where do you want to go with shadow?
No. I want y'all to finish. Y'all done?
Yeah, I think that wraps it up. I think what I want to say on this is like, use your critical thinking skills. We know that news pushes things that are attention grabbing, generally negative, and generally not filled with a ton of truth. Or maybe that's like a very, very, very small sliver of it. So yeah, and then if that is something that you're worried about or concerned about, got some dog panting there.
I like the way you're phrasing that, because if you are scared of it, like I love the joke, find your local hippie and smoke with them. Like it sounds bad when I say it like that, but the thing is, everybody knows somebody who is not afraid. It's not been 15 minutes. Where's he going?
I know. It's just really exciting.
I'm ADD and he's making me look calm. I think we should have made him smoke something before this. Jeez. And I like how you if it was possible. I also want to point out, I love how you phrased this. Hannah made the comment about like edibles. And the thing is, a lot of people, if you don't want to smoke, maybe you've never wanted to smoke cannabis and you want to try something.
Or any
Bingo.
kind of, you know.
And you're not going to go puff on a joint with somebody. You're not going to want to like make an oil or whatever, like hit a bong.
Yeah.
Don't do that the first time. But like you go try an edible, you have to understand it's like medicine.
Yeah.
When you take your pills, if you take your pill orally or you take your pill rectally, it does something different to your body. The same thing with cannabis. If you smoke it compared to eating it, your body's going to dissolve it differently. It's going to absorb into your body differently. Absolutely. Exactly. Yeah. And like that is where we need to separate that is like when you do an edible, your body's going to have to, your liver's going to be giving out different enzymes. Your kidneys are producing in there, and that's going to help you have a natural body high that edibles give you that's different than a smoking high.
Totally different. Yeah. And that's where people, I think run into issues where they're experimenting without having any guidance of, dosages and things like that. And again, before I was pregnant, a 125-pound person, sorry, 1 second, versus a 200-pound person, like that's all things that you need to take into consideration. So
yes.
Yeah, I think the overall idea, and we can wrap it up with this, is that if that's something that you want to try and experiment, really just like know what your goal is with it. I think like what do you want to get out of it? And
I agree.
Go from there.
I agree. I think that's real sad.
Use your critical thinking skills when it comes to these, things that you see out there. Where are your sources coming from?
Clearly, you're passionate about this, and clearly you're passionate about this. And you can continue talking. I'm about to switch right back to white because I'm seeing red, and I'm not feeling it. So I'm gonna switch back to white.
Yes, Satan.
Scary. Thanks for saying that because I wasn't going to, but. Anything else you want to say to wrap that up? Because I think we really covered the main things there. Like,
I just want to make one quick thing on edibles. Mm-hmm. If you've never done edibles, don't just eat the entire damn thing. Okay, it's so much fun for the people who know what's going to happen. But when you've never done it and you're like, I'm going to have a great time tonight, and you throw an entire edible in your mouth, you don't know that
to do because they taste good.
Yes, they have gummies, they have cookies. I've seen people eat the entire cookie and then be like, oh, I'm going to be great. And I'm like, bye. Like, I'll see you tomorrow. Like, you have to be able to know what you're getting into, but also trust the people around you. So if I say, don't eat the entire cookie, and I'm someone you trust, don't eat the entire cookie. Yeah. Like, you can always add more.
You're talking about
special cookies.
No. I don't even need to know. Plausible deniability. I don't need to know nothing.
Yeah. Plausible deniability. Yeah. Now, I want to tap into the shadow work stuff because I know that's where you're wanting to go. So, Harry, talk to me about how shadow work and cannabis.
No. You can't do that one. You can't do that one because we already have a host of this show. And
go on, handsome.
Right there. Oh. Right. That one right there.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That one over that one. So I don't even know what she's going to ask, but
I don't know
moving
either.
into the topic of, and I really hope it doesn't shift you up again like it did last time. But
what the ish is going on?
Oh my goodness, whatever. It's whatever. What the ish? Authenticity.
Your house is really nice.
Oh my goodness! See this, and people they don't see me cut up like this. Like they've never seen me cut up like this, man. But it's you are a problem, sir. You're a problem in a great way, in the best way. So
we're really venturing into some things that if you don't like it, just don't watch this. But
really. At the end of the day,
ask a question.
Ask the question, y'all. That is the show. Brandon, ask the question. And Hannah from the ish. I'm still thinking about the ish. Hannah from Canada will be asking the questions. I have no idea, but the topic is authenticity, aligned action, shadow work, which is introspection.
Yeah. Well, so Brandon was about to ask the question, so he's going to ask the question first, and I want to see where he goes with this one. So.
I was just curious with shadow work. Shadow work is working in the dark. It's working in the areas of usually traumatic experiences. It's working in like pains. And we're talking about cannabis. And I personally, I use cannabis, and this is me being very open as someone with mental health issues, someone who's very honest about his mental health. I use cannabis to balance me at times. I use cannabis to give me the energy to keep me calm, to like whatever it's going to be. But working on shadow work, I think that people need to know that sometimes our shadows, the shadow work that we need to dive into, there are other ways of helping. Have you ever like been too nervous to get up on stage on something and somebody tells you to do a shot? So you do a shot of something and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, I'm a lot more relaxed, and they have fun. Like you've seen that done. You've heard of it being done. The same thing with shadow work is when you start on working on things, you have to look at what you're diving into. And the cannabis plant with shadow work comes with such a negative energy already associated to it. How do you work on shadow work with a negative stereotype already for so many?
Okay. So I don't know who asked the question. What was the question?
How do you work on shadow work with something that already has a negative stereotype?
So
Oh,
are we,
okay.
just to clarify, are we talking about using cannabis as a tool to assist in shadow work?
I was leaving that up for negotiation, whether you use it for the work or whether you don't. I was kind of letting it play with what you were going to do.
So my guess here is that, disclaimer, we're making zero recommendations on anything. This is a conversation.
Yeah. I'm a layman. I know therapy. I don't even know what I'm talking about. I'm talking out the side of my neck, and I don't even know these two people.
Yeah. So. So yeah, maybe we'll just kind of like distill this question a little bit more. Could cannabis be used as a tool in shadow work?
Perfect. I like that.
I would say most certainly. I mean, the research shows, especially those that suffer from complex PTSD and PTSD. There's a reason why a lot of underserved communities rely on cannabis so heavily. It actually is beneficial for a lot of people who suffer through these traumatic events, whether it's legal in the state or not. And that's why well, let me not even say that, but no, I'm gonna say it anyway. That's why I really couldn't care less with some of my clients who actually use cannabis unless it's actually causing an impairment in function, which is why we're here in the first place. So for me, the ones that my clients who have been through this horrible trauma again and again and again and again, and I know that they went through the medications, and the medications either made them more suicidal or homicidal, or numb or whatever. But yet they use cannabis on their own, and they can talk to their spouse again, they can laugh again, they can feel somewhat safer again. And again, the goal of it all, like, honestly, I mean, mental health serves so many different purposes, but if we want to make it very simplistic, the goal is to help the human being feel safe again, because when we feel safe, the part of our autonomic nervous system that wants to get engaged socially is activated, and then we feel more love, more unity, and we're ready to receive each other, and then we experience unity. So is it necessary? No, it's not necessary. You don't need anything outside of yourself.
No, but it's just one of the tools. It's not necessary. One of the tools that could be available to you. And again, everybody's different. Everybody responds to things different. And again, I want to clarify that there are different cannabinoids that can be used. So you may be like CBD may be beneficial for you. Brandon talks about several other ones on the Is That So podcast, which I think was like episode 2 or 3. Yeah. Pretty early on. Yeah. It was a good episode.
Yeah, it was really good.
So if you really want to go into that and some of the research around that, when it comes to like PTSD specifically, like there's a lot there. So yeah, I think as a tool, like that's something that's available to you among other things.
All medication, and I said this, I don't know if I said this. I did say this at the my earlier podcast with When Harry Met Daphne. So we recorded earlier, and I said, medication. This is the issue I have with medication when it comes down to mental wellness or mental health, is that the understanding of it is not correct. You have those who don't even see a therapist and will rely solely on medication, frying their brain. Not that medication fries their brain. I'm not, again, I'm just talking as a lay person. But some of these drugs are they do some pretty drastic things to the brain, period. You do your own research.
Side effects. Like
Exactly.
then you kind of get into this cascade of treatments where it's like you're treating one thing with another thing, and then
Precisely.
yeah,
But
it can
but
get pretty dirty.
but then there are those that are on the other extreme. That's
Yeah.
a completely anti-medication, even though absolutely they're in a state where they actually need the medication. You know, and so this is the nuance. I have to bring some nuance in this
Yeah.
space to help people understand that medication, that therapy and healing is supposed to, if you take medication of any sort, it's supposed to be medication assisted therapy. You don't just take the medication thinking that, you know, you're just going to take this medication, everything will be fine. No,
Yeah.
you're not healing. All you're doing is putting a band-aid on it. So you take the medication, legal medication, well, whatever it is, you take the medication and then you continue to do the shadow work. You continue to do the introspective work. You continue to work on yourself personally. The medication is only there to help you make life tolerable, so you don't want to jump off of a bridge or want to kill somebody else. You know, it's supposed to be there to help you function in a day-to-day, to keep a job and things of that. Existing, there's a difference between existing or merely existing and living. So medication can assist with keeping you existing, but we're not here to merely exist. We're here to live. And so if you want to truly live, you got to experience that truth of who you are.
Yeah.
And you got to live in that truth. And the only way to do that is to do the introspective work, which we title as we'll phrase as shadow work, you know?
Yeah. And I think
I
that
agree.
almost everything that you said could also be applied to if somebody was choosing to use cannabis or CBD or anything like that. Like we often in society use substances as band-aids too. So it can be said for the medication, but I think that can also be said for, you know, smoking weed or whatever. Like, yeah, you can use it as a tool, but you can, you know, you definitely still have to be doing the work and the introspective stuff to benefit from it.
Correct.
Look, one of the main places, and I'm not saying this as if I know, because I'm just saying this, I don't know what I'm talking about. But anyway, one of the main places that's easy to smuggle in drugs is the prison system, right? And I'm telling you, I've seen these inmates, some of them that were using, and some of them that had some really bad horror stories that pretty much experienced homicidal ideation every waking moment. But I'd see them smoking weed. Well, I wouldn't see them smoking weed, but I'd see them afterwards, you know, because you can tell. And he's cordial, having a conversation, you know, not thinking about sawing anybody head off or anything like that. And I'm like, yo, man, that is good. You don't want to kill anybody today, right? No, Mr. Turner, I do not.
Yeah.
Good job. Good job.
That's obviously an extreme example, but like
that's an extreme example.
The more people who can just go about their day being kind to other people, not popping off angrily, like, you know, it's
literally,
like,
you're cutting off heads now. Like we went that fast. Like
yeah. No,
yeah. But
and again,
bring it back
it's a little bit of dark humor here, but understand I've dealt. My name is my pseudonym is a nocturnal therapist for a reason, because I could deal with that darkness. Not every therapist, not every practitioner is built to deal with traumatology. You know, there's a lot of practitioners who may not even want to deal with their own trauma, let alone deal with trauma. You know, an entire caseload full of, you know, people who have experienced this extensive trauma. I'm built for it tough. You know, I'm like, you know, like I'm 100 with it. Like this is my lane. So I'm able to go in this space and understand it and not judge it. So you may hear some dark humor every now and again. But again, if you're offended, charge it to my head and not my heart, because I definitely don't mean to offend. You know, it's all love here.
Yeah. I think that's a interesting concept, and I love the humor behind it, because of the fact that it is so true. It really does make an effect on people. And when you mention, I just want to clarify something, because you did say how, our prison system does have drugs in it. And the thing is, I think the question goes more along the lines of, why were they in there in the first place? Did they become someone that got into that because of being in prison, and that's why they want to cut someone's head off? I mean, our prison systems aren't built as a reformatory to get someone out. It's why it is. It is, and it's a factory that's built to make people come back, because you can't get a job after you have a felony on your name. You can't get proper funding. You can't get even government assistance after you've had a felony on your name, even a misdemeanor for certain people. And that's something that it creates an anger in people.
The rage, exact. Look, I'm a black man with 3 different degrees, and it's still hard for me to get in a lot of different places. unless I prove
Yes.
that I'm, cool or whatever. And so imagine me, no degrees, maybe never even graduated high school and got a felony.
It's
If I
a
wasn't
totally different world.
like,
Yeah.
no, yeah, that is a death sentence in my opinion.
Yeah.
So, and that's why I studied things like criminology and deviance, because the only reason people deviate from the norm is because the norm does not work out for them. Period. And so then it creates this criminality, this adaptation to this harsh environment where they cannot exist abiding by the law.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then how often does that spiral just further and further down? I'm sure that
And
there
then-
are plenty of people who end up in prison before, like, without having had drug issues and things like that, and that's where that happens. I mean,
Bingo. 100%.
Because you're in that environment, and like, how do you get through it, right?
I look at these. Oh, go ahead.
I'm going to use just the white boy me inside that I am. Is I remember when I was a kid and I got in trouble and they put me in juvie. What did that do? I met people then that did the crimes that I thought were like, oh my gosh. And I learned how to do other things. I learned about drugs. I learned about what other problems are there. And I made friends with the people who, they put me in that situation to be around those people because I have to learn. And the thing is you become a product of who you surround yourself with. And if you're if you're forced into this environment and then all of a sudden somebody gets your good behavior, you get to get let out. Why does 3 out of every 5 inmates end up back in prison within 6 months? Why? Because the system is, they don't feel they can be accepted and they want to go back to where they felt accepted. The secondhand crimes are usually a lot less than their firsthand crime because they look at it and they're like, oh, I'm going to go rob a bank, and they don't even have a gun. They go in there and they just say they're robbing the bank because they want to go back to jail.
What was the name of the librarian from Shawshank Redemption? Brooks?
Oh,
I think his name was Brooks.
Yes.
Yeah, Brooks, you become institutionalized. But again, we got to consider the fact that, and then again, this is my layman personal opinion, talk side to side of my neck. But I believe that when you look at the system itself, it since it's built off of punishment and hate and fear, then no matter who you are, even if you're an employee, this is why I began writing a book called You Don't Have to Be Incarcerated to Be in a Prison, because I realized that the inmates weren't the only ones serving time.
Amen.
That place is a hell. And so even if you go in there for a weekend, you mess around and get sexually assaulted. Now you got to live with that for the rest of your life,
Right.
And because you are an inmate, nobody gives a damn about the fact that there's that rape is it's so commonplace that it's a joke in every single comedy known to Americans and I don't know where else. But we know it's going on, but nobody really cares. Why? Because it's those people over there, those inmates. They deserve it. If they didn't want to be raped, they shouldn't have did what they did to end up in prison. Even though we don't know anything about their story, nothing about their story. And even if we did know their story, if we're trying to make people safe, if we're trying to produce, if we're trying to bring, the only thing, darkness cannot dispel darkness. Only light can do that. Hate cannot dispel hate. Only love can do that. And so is that a loving act to send this person into this torture chamber instead of teaching them, giving them what it is that they never had in the first place? Because the only reason they cause harm to you is because they first caused harm to themselves, because they carry that self-hatred around. And whatever we carry around, whatever we carry, we give to the other. We constantly project outward to the other. So it's not more hate that would solve that problem. It's actually love in that space. No matter how repulsive the act, love is the only way to heal. And that's why love is so hard to do. Because we have to get beyond ourselves and what the hell we want. Our need, our cry for vengeance, for the other to suffer and punish. We have to get beyond that. We have to get beyond our own self-hatred and realize that the only reason we even hate the other is because we hate ourselves so much. The only reason we don't know how to talk to the other because we don't know how to talk to ourselves. The reason why we don't communicate with the other because we don't communicate with ourselves. We have to understand that all of us are in a constant state of projection. And before you look at the splinter in your brother's eye, check out that plank you got in yours. I'm gonna pause for a second. How y'all like this shade?
I wasn't expecting you to switch shades on me like that.
Oh,
So,
okay.
Hannah, you have the next question, apparently.
All right, so let's see where we're at. That's some heavy stuff to follow up on.
Aligned action.
Aligned action.
Yeah, I think that's really important that we talk about aligned action, exactly what that is.
Yeah, what
You
is
know,
aligned
so
action?
whatever, you know, I'm sorry.
What
You know,
is
you got it. You got it. Cause you know, yo,
Oh,
you do what you do.
you know,
Just toss me the alley. Toss me the alley. Go ahead, do what you do. Wait, what's the question again? What is aligned
you
action?
asked the question.
Yeah, okay. All right. Just making sure. Just making sure. I need to write it down. What is aligned action?
Sorry, that was great. So, aligned action. What is aligned action? Let's start with that.
What is aligned action? Let's discuss.
It's. I'll guess. It's being aligned with the actions that you're doing.
If I was a teacher, I'd give you only like a 3 out of 5 on that.
That's fine. I wasn't trying.
Elaborate.
No, you got to try. Now you try.
Let's elaborate.
You asked the question and then left us, and we're like, "Look at my shade change." Like, don't play with me like that. So, all right, fine. Aligned action is making sure your actions are aligning with what you say, do, and believe. If you're not going to be able to know that what you're believing is truth, you should not be you should not be putting it out on others. How's that?
Okay.
I like that.
Should not be putting it out on others. So keeping it as if there is no other and there's only oneness, there's only us that exists. I would say aligned action. First, we're looking at that first part, aligned. Now, so that means to be in alignment. I would hypothesize. And so to be in alignment, my next question would be in alignment with what? So go ahead.
Your values.
She got it.
I've been doing this.
Oh my goodness.
No, I mean, I knew where you were going with that one because
mercy. The crowd, exactly though. Exactly.
I've heard this, but yeah, I mean, aligned with what? Obviously, is the first thing to ask. And we've talked about this on, I think, the last couple of shows, probably. is really like understanding your values, and that's part of shadow work. And what your values are is your beliefs, your belief system, the things that you care about.
It is your direction.
Your direction, your North Star.
That's what it is. Right. It is your direction. That's what your values are, because that's your truth. And so wherever your truth leads you, that's where you go. And so what are you in line with? You are in line with your truth. And then you take action in that truth. Now, why do we need to put action on the end of it if we're already saying aligned? Because what else are we going to be aligned with? Well, aligned action, your action, you need to understand that you have a choice to make, because indecision is a decision within itself. So you have to be intentional about being aligned and do something beyond that. Because if you don't tell your time what to do, then your time will tell you what to do, right?
Bingo.
And so aligned action is first checking in with your team player, being yourself, your captain, your quarterback, checking in with that team player and understanding who you are, how you feeling, and what value needs to be manifest. What is most important in this space right here, right now. And this is what I call beingness. So you return to your center, to your heart space, and you experience beingness. And from beingness, after you have that me, myself, and I meeting, then you decide what to do. And that is aligned action. When you do not connect with your anchor, being yourself, your higher self, your team captain, when you don't have that anchor, then your goals will not fulfill you. You'll just be acting. And most of what the acting that you'll be doing will be in alignment with other people's objectives and goals for your life, because you don't have one. You're a ship without a rudder.
Yep. Just floating around.
There we go. What's the next question?
Oh man.
I love questions. What you think, Brand? How you feel about that, man?
I agree with you on that. I didn't have a rebuttal. I gave you an A on that one. I gave you a 5 out of 5. All right.
5 out of 5.
Okay.
If I was a teacher, you got 5 out of 5. I gave you that.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, aligned action helps us to show up in a way where we have an anchor, we have something that we are moving in the direction towards. Without it, yeah, we just end up kind of like floating around and not really feeling like we have much of a purpose. What other like
There's another ingredient. Yeah. Go ahead. Ask a question.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I lost it. Hold on.
I know exactly what you're going to say. I felt it because you lost it because you gave it to me. What you're about to ask to say is what, okay, there's a line of action, but also what comes with that. And what comes with that is intentionality. Once you become in alignment with the action that you take, you got to be intentional, because intentionality reflects relationship. If I'm not intentional about it, then I don't have a relationship with it. So once you choose what to be in alignment with, you understand what you need to be in alignment with, and then you develop a plan of approach to life. By discussing yourself, like being with beingness, once you develop that plan of approach, then you go into your POA, your plan of action. And so intentionality reflects relationship. How do you strengthen the relationship between where you are now and the experience that you've chosen for yourself? By continuing to respond to that thing. Because that's the direction.
You're giving it the energy that you're
Exactly, because whatever you stare at, like wherever attention goes, energy flows, and whatever you stare at becomes your reality. And of course, perception is reality. So if all I perceive, all I allow myself to perceive is what it is that I actually value and what's important to me, what I seek to experience, then that's what I bring into this physical space. Eventually, I'm sorry, you wanted to add something?
No, I was going to let you finish. My question. Well, good then. I'm going to take over. So I was going to ask about the anchoring then. So it's easy for people to flow in water because we are our own oceans. I say it all the time on my show. We are our own oceans. You have 80% of your body is made up of water. Your bones are made up of majority water. Your brain is made up of majority water. So to flow and let yourself run and flow freely is difficult. It's when you're anchoring. Knowing what you're anchored in is what a lot of people have problems with. They just have their sails up going, letting the oceans of themselves take them everywhere. How do you know when you're working on you to get the proper anchoring?
How do you know when you're working on you?
I didn't phrase the question right because I was letting you finish and I didn't think you were going to finish that quickly. But when you're anchoring, and you need to anchor yourself and you're being the ocean of who you are, how do you know you're anchoring into a proper spot compared to just letting the anchor drop? Because you don't just let the anchor drop in the middle of the ocean.
So how do you know that you're in the right space?
Like that
How do you know? How do you know? Yes.
Okay.
What is it?
How do you know that you're anchored into the right space or like your authentic space?
How do you know? Because I see a reflection of myself in that space, and also I get refueled, and I get replenished in that space, and I begin to tap my mission, my daily intentions, rather values-based intentions. I connect that to my mission because I'm anchored down, and then I have this unlimited supply of motivation. That's when I move into this self-discipline phase, which is some have said that it's motivation on autopilot, self-discipline. If you notice that it don't matter what discipline you're in, no matter what genius you look at, no matter what expert you look at, they have to have some level of discipline to what it is that they do. Again, connecting goals to their values. This is why goals and values go hand in hand. If all you have is values, then you'll continually talk about what it is that you're going to do and want to do, but you'll never do anything. And if all you have is goals, then you'll continually do a whole lot of stuff, but it'll never be values based. And so it won't give you fulfillment, and it'll burn you out. And then one day you wake up and figure out what the hell am I doing, and try to rearrange your life. So, but whenever you anchor down into your values, you talk to your star player first, and you connect with that first. Now you have purpose. Now you have a direction, because it's your star player that's going to tell you what actually fulfills you. What path do you need to take to continue to explore a deeper truth of who you are? What is the path of least resistance? What is it that you want to experience, and how to get to it? That comes from this place right here, because this place already knows. You see, the conscious mind is still trying to understand and catch up to what is already known. Anything that I tell people, if it connects with them, if it resonates with them, that means that it's their truth. That means it was already in them, half asleep. Again, my favorite author, Khalil Gibran, he says, no teacher can teach you except that which is already half asleep in the dawning of your being. All it takes is the right experience, or the right word, the right person, really the right experience to spark that up, to light up that area. Because shadow work is not about, really dealing with the darkness, because we are the light. And so wherever we move, darkness is not an opposite of light. It's the absence of light. Wherever we move at, darkness got to flee. And so shadow work is about bringing our awareness, us being a light, to those dark spaces, knowing that that darkness is not greater than our power. Does that make sense?
I just wanted to hear what you were going to go with, because you mentioned the anchor, and I picture so many people just being lost and not knowing. They let their anchor just kind of drag behind them, and whatever it catches, it catches. And
yeah, I mean, I think we have this idea too of like, oh, I just like go with the flow, and like that's sometimes seen as a positive thing, and it's not necessarily that you don't want to go with the flow of life and just be an acceptance to things, but yeah, like what's the difference there?
There's a boogeyman in somebody's house.
No,
Hannah, you
Sorry.
have a boogeyman?
No.
Brandon, is that you with the boogeyman?
Yes.
Oh my goodness, Brandon.
If I don't make it to the end of the show, guys, she killed me. I apologize.
You know what? Give them one of them bars. Give them a delight. They'll be okay. All right.
I got one. Hold on. Let me get
there you
that
go.
really quick.
Pull it out. Now is the moment. Now
that sounds really inappropriate coming from you.
Oh, that wasn't the one. That wasn't the one I was supposed to push.
Perfect.
That was.
That actually was perfect. That was funny. Here we go.
Wait, I don't want to lose that place either. What you got in your hand, brother?
Delight.
What is delight? For the people who don't know.
Delight. Delight is odorless, colorless, tasteless, full spectrum CBD. It is a powder that you can add to anything. So literally just open this up, pour it inside your ketchup, pour it in your Long Island iced tea. Hell, pour it inside your ketchup, give it a stir with a French fry, and find your calm, your balance, and your delight when you need it most. It's as easy as CBD.
There we go. Wonderful. And I think that was the one. Show it again. Oh my goodness. Amazing. So let me bring it down a little bit more practical, because I understand the language in which I speak, but to make it a little bit more simple for people, your anchor, what you anchor into is at first what it is that you are drawn to, that you like. And so you find something that you like, and then you do it. This is where the self-discipline is so important, because when you find what you like, as you continue to do it, it doesn't matter what you do, you begin to learn more about yourself by becoming more skilled in that craft. It doesn't really matter what you master, whether you are martial arts or whether you cook pies. Once you reach a certain level of mastery, you tap into this flow where all truth is the same. It just manifests differently in this physical plane, but all truth, we all relying on the same laws, these universal truths. And so really find out what it is that you like, and what you like will lead you down the road to what you're passionate about. And that passion, just stick right there. If you don't know anything else, you know that this is true for me. Whatever you know is true for you, you hold on to that right there until synchronicity and other signs come along. That gives you the opportunity to explore that truth a little bit deeper, and you got to take that chance. Now, the reason why a lot of us just decide to float around, in my opinion, is because of our allergic reaction to the word faith, And so, and again, it take.
You wonder why I call you a preacher?
No, I'm not going there, because I'm about to say, take all religious flavor out of your mouth, for a second, just take the religiosity out of it altogether. Faith. I brush my teeth because I have faith that my teeth will be clean afterwards. I get in my car because I have faith that it's going to start and bring me to my destination. We use faith all of the time. The reason why I believe a lot of people miss it, is because they're looking for the path instead of already accepting the fact that they're on the path, that they are exactly where they need to be. They don't like what it looks like, though, and so they would rather something else.
It can be hard to accept sometimes that where you are is where you need to be, and it's often not till down the road that you see that, but in the moment it can be really difficult.
Yes.
Yeah.
Especially when
very much.
The reality that you're creating hasn't caught up with you quite yet.
Was that his alarm? I feel like that was his alarm to tell him to change shades again.
Dog, man, the dog. But yes, it is scary. Like you were saying earlier, I mean, it can be scary because shadow work or introspection, going within, understanding who you are and growing personally. developing a stronger relationship with you. It requires you at some point you run out of space, easy space to explore. All the spaces that all the spaces that you're comfortable with exploring. At some point you're going to have to deal with the boogeymen and women that you put in the closet. Those are the spaces that you keep skating around. And so yes, it is challenging. And just like everything else, it requires discipline. It's not one time, oh, I didn't like that, and then jump out. I didn't like that. You know, when you understand that your pain has a purpose, when you understand why you are experiencing the discomfort that you're experiencing, pain takes on a new form. And you got to have faith in that space. Because if you don't have, why would I endure pain if I don't have faith that I'll come out on the other side stronger and better? Yeah. You go as far as your faith will allow you. And so this lack of faith that we have in ourselves, combined with the mass self-hatred that we have with ourselves, the broken communication that we have with ourselves, that is reflected via the broken communication systems that we see outside of ourselves. You know, that all of these things are a reflection of a relationship of self. You know, we truly are as strong as our weakest link, you know, and so we have to see each other as one big chain, you know. I'm invested in Hannah the same way. I'm invested in you. I'm invested in all human beings, but particularly the ones that collide in my path, right? Because the ones that I collide into, when there is a shared mission there, I understand that I'm among kindred family folk, kindred spirits. And so in that space, the energy is amplified. Where two or three are gathered, the energy is amplified. So us being on the stage with the same intention, that amplifies my effort. Therefore, whatever I'm staring at, we all are staring at, and it comes to fruition much faster because we're pouring way more energy as a collective unit into that vision. And so the goal that we had, don't you start with the amen. You better not say not another amen. Anybody preaching over here, man. So the last thing I'll say.
I wish I had controls. I've been writing preach and all that. I can't even have them scroll across the bottom. I would have had so much more fun picking on you.
But the goal.
Yeah, I'm not using my admin powers to the greatest.
Like I have preach written right there with the hands raised because you were preaching at one point, and I was really like, I don't mean it as a negative. I say it as a positive. Like, know that when I say that, that's because the amen from me is coming from a place of I agree wholeheartedly, and I think that is something that is facts that needs to be out there for people to hear. And so when I say that, I mean it as a compliment, and I pick on you calling you a pastor, and my reverend and stuff like that, but it comes from a loving place because you have that great energy of a teacher. So that's a compliment.
A wild stage, and I think the preach comments only bother you because of your.
It is, yeah, because it's something again, a trigger. A trigger is an area of unexplored truth, and so honestly, so here's part of the skill. In all honesty, and I told Hannah this before we got on here about something else. When people that are important to me, especially people that are important to me, but when people in general present an opportunity where I feel any type of discomfort or resistance within me, I actually give thanks for that, because there's no growth without resistance, you know, and we ought to be growing to the day that we die. And so the more resistance, it's like lifting weights, you know, after a certain point, you get strong enough, you got to put on more weight, right? Because you need more resistance so that you can grow bigger and stronger. And so when these things that are underneath, based off the way that I hear to, based off of the way that I'm based off of the way that I'm experiencing life, these things that are underneath, you know, when they get highlighted based off of the trigger, oh man, don't call me no pastor or whatever else, you know, that lets me know, okay, you still have some more work in this area. And so I have gratitude for that. I don't run from my triggers. No, I lean into that discomfort. I want to know that truth because it shouldn't be a trigger. Not that it shouldn't be a trigger, but that the trigger is there and I know it can be removed based off of me understanding that my truth is there and leaning into that discomfort. So thank you, brother. Thank you. So that's one of the skills. That's one of the skills. Did you just, and I hope it takes 5 minutes to get there too. You put a comment up there. You put it there. There you go. Amen.
You were watching me like I had my phone right here. I'm like, just quickly type this. No, you honestly, like when you asked me to do this, you look beautiful. Thank you. Sorry, you too, guys. Let me tell you, you guys look incredible right here. Like, bring it. That's why we had to switch to different colors, like for the nocturnal therapist over here. We have red, we have orange, we had green, we had blue, and we didn't even know we had green because we just made it up on the spot.
What do y'all choose?
I chose
what color?
Orange.
I'm sticking with orange too.
Sully's about to say I chose white, but would you choose that?
But I'm sticking with orange as well.
Orange as well. Well, look, we going over just a little bit. Just give us just 10 more minutes of your time, people. I'm changing this shade out for the last 10 as we closing out. You know what I mean? But we're gonna tie this shadow work, aligned action, and authenticity up. You know, but y'all said again the color blue. That's what I wanted to hear. But y'all said orange, right?
Yeah.
Do we have any comments here?
Orange.
Yeah. Orange.
Orange is my favorite.
Orange. All right.
Are we supposed to talk, Hannah?
I'm just looking to see if we have any comments to respond to, but we're good. We got comments.
Ready? Hold on.
Yes.
I'm gonna switch my character and change it to blue and see if he'll change it.
Oh.
Are you answering phone calls on air live? Yeah, tell them you're live on air. You should be answering calls.
It's like, what are you talking about?
Look, it's meetings. Look, man, this is life. This is life. It's meetings, during meetings. And so, yeah, this has been life for the last 2 years. You know what I'm saying? So I'm again, real quick, let me toss my stuff in there. Wait, is that the time to do this? I mean, let's do it. But whatever, it's the time. Time is whenever
you're in charge of the show.
Hey, there we go. But actually, Hannah's in charge. But anyway.
Hannah, I see that somebody wants the color blue. Somebody voted for blue.
Blue? Oh, snap. You know I'm going to put that blue on anyway.
Hannah, write a comment. Change it to another color. What other colors did he have?
Put pink in there.
Pink. Okay, you got it.
There's no pink.
His red.
Yeah. Take us back to hell, Harry.
There we go. I wrote red. Oh, I didn't put him as the red heart.
Totally groovy, baby.
All right, I love this. What about red?
What about red? I'm not putting red back up there, man. I wanted to hit myself when I had that red up there, man. I just rage, man. I was like, I'm angry, you know?
You did look angry. Like with the red on, I was scared.
I was seeing red, man. Yeah, it was nervous. I was scared of myself. But blue is chill. Blue is chill. Yeah, like it put blue really is my color. Like teal, blue. Oh my goodness. Look at my voice even changes when I put the blue on. You know, it's just like that's so groovy, baby. Oh, so nice.
As the host of the show, I'm gonna request that we wrap this up.
Yeah. So
we're gonna respect all of your time and thank you everyone who has joined us for this episode.
Yes. Wait, real quick.
It's been very interesting, but yeah, throw it out there.
No, you plug it in. You plug it in better. Okay. You're the host anyway.
What am I plugging? I think is.
So let me plug it in.
For a smoother transition into that one, but.
Understanding meditations. Please check it out. becomingoutlawyer.com/understanding. I think I have it. Oh man, come on. There you go, Brandon again. There you go again. Oh,
man.
Oh my goodness.
Your house smells so nice too. God, let me tell you.
I got the diffuser on.
So yeah, we have that. Also, what else, Hannah?
Okay, yeah, so let's tell people about Understanding. Basically, what we have, this is a new awesome product that you can get online. It's 7 audio meditations, guided meditations. You can either access them through the Kajabi app, so it can be right on your phone anytime, or as a private podcast. And I believe you tried that, Harry, and it's pretty cool. You get a private podcast link, and then you can add it to whatever player that you want. They are meditations led by Harry. We have hand selected them, curated them, really to like just help people find their inner calm, that peace, and tap into their authentic selves. And then you also get a new meditation every month. So very cool.
Yeah,
I love it.
Harry's voice is very relaxing, as you all should know by now. So
I don't know if you guys have heard him like in his element. Like that blue is just gonna make it flow even better. He's gonna be like, hey, ladies and gentlemen, this is Harry. I'm just here to tell you all, relax,
Brandon,
have some fun. What I do?
Brandon, it's so funny that you're saying it while you're joking. Like this blue is really making me feel like that, man. Like I'm just feeling just groovy, man. Like seriously.
I wore blue just to match you on this. I'm like, how can I sound like?
Synchronicity,
I'm like,
brother.
I gotta shave the head. I gotta get a little few white sprinkles in here.
So
what was that called again?
Zaddy.
I'm a zaddy. Yeah.
Wait. We don't want to claim that too much because I don't really know what that means.
We don't know enough about this yet.
They told me it was a positive thing. Yeah,
zaddy, like Zaddy.
Yeah, they said because I had a salt and pepper beard that I was a zaddy. Like, you know, that
a zaddy. Wow, a zaddy is a sexually attractive man, especially an older man who is fashionable and charismatic. You are a zaddy, my friend.
Oh, zaddied out. What?
All right,
come on, man.
Claim it all you want.
What? Now we zaddy out here. I didn't even know it was all of that, man. So it was like really, like, you know. Of course,
I googled it for you.
Man now, so y'all know I ain't.
Now we
I'm
know,
taking it.
and I hope that if you guys took nothing away from this episode, that you now know the definition of a
zaddy.
Of a zaddy.
Thank you all for coming to learn this.
All right, y'all. We out. Well, Brandon, you good? You good?
I'm good. You guys were amazing. Right. I love this. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you for joining
everything.
us. It was a really great, interesting conversation. I hope everyone enjoyed it. If you catch the replay, please let us know where you're tuning in from. We would love to know, as well as if you have any questions, feel free to ask.
Yes. And please let us know what your favorite shade of the Nocturnal Therapist was. Right. Your favorite shade of the Nocturnal Therapist was. I ain't like what I said it the first time. Yes, we'll be adding a poll. So, hey, until next time, stay lit and agape. Live in your truth.